Fyffe. My name is Marella. I invite you to bring your hands to your heart, close your eyes, turn your attention inwards, bring your awareness to your breath. And as usual, we open with 3 ohms. Exhale, inhale. 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 Open your eyes, release your hands. My word of the day today is sheep herding. I have some sheep here on the farm, and they're specifically used to keep down grass under native trees that we have planted some years back. Unfortunately, our fencing has got very old, so our sheep have been breaking out at least once, if not twice a day, and it has been driving me up and down the walls. So first thing in the morning when I get up, I go down and I check my sheep and see if they're not there, and then I have to drive them back into the field and do some fencing. It's the first thing I do in the morning, and it's the last thing I do at night. And so developing an equanimity around this, because sheep will do what sheep will do, and rather than blaming the sheep, it's absolutely about me making the field secure to keep the sheep in. I decided right at the start that I was just going to be happy with it just as it is and just as it is not, even though the circumstances are not ideal. So it's being able to tune into the place of peace, a place of quietness, a place of good humour, even though the amount of work that has gone up exponentially in relation to the sheep as a result of the poor fencing. But now I have improved the fencing a lot, and the sheep, for the first time today, are still within their field. At least they are at the moment. I'm going down now after yoga practice to see if they're still there. So fingers crossed. So what's going on in your life which is causing you grief and annoyance, and how are you with it? Are you able to get access to that place of good humour, joy and peace, even though things are difficult? Let's make our way onto our mats. Come into down dog. Hands widen shoulders, lift your hips up. Externally rotate your upper arms, grip the floor with your fingertips. Lift your hips high. Press down with the heels of your hands into the floor. Press the backs of your knees away. Melt your heart. Look at a point between your thumbs. Float your shoulders over your wrists, come into plank, squeeze your ankles together, heels vertical over toes, look out in front. Core nice and bright. Lower to the floor, come into locust 1. Stretch your legs out, tops of your feet on the floor, flare your toes. Backs of your hands on the floor. Lift your head and shoulders off the floor. Squeeze your inner heels towards each other. Release your head to the floor, bring the side of your face to the floor and just rest. Moving into locust 2, lift legs off the floor, lift arms off the floor, turn thumbs up, lift your arms up as high as you can, squeeze your legs together. And bring the other side of your face to the floor and relax completely again. Coming into superhero, lift arms out in front, lift legs off floor, squeeze heels together, gaze out ahead, hands shoulder width apart. Stretch tips of fingers forward, stretch your toes away from your tips of your fingers. And make your way into cat-cow. Hands under shoulders, float your knees hip width apart, exhale round your back up. Tops of your feet on the floor, flare your toes, inhale, lift your head, look up, sinking down between your shoulder blades. And keep that going. Exhaling, rounding up, inhaling, sinking down. And coming to a place of neutral, walk your knees back, one hand's pace, walk your hands forward, and coming into plank, turn your toes under, float your shoulders over your wrists, heels over ankles, gaze straight ahead, core nice and bright. Feet together, more difficult, feet inner hip width apart, more doable. Bend your elbows, lower down into chaturanga and just hold it. You can do this on your knees too. Lower to the floor and make your way into down dog. Walk your feet to your hands, come into forward fold, line up your fingernails with your toenails. Allow your head to drop. Squeeze your inner shins, your inner thighs. Press the heel of your hands into the floor. Press the backs of your knees away from you. Inhale, press down, stand up. Lift your arms out in front, hands shoulder width apart. Point palms towards each other. Invite the head of the shoulder bones deep into the sockets. Bend your knees, lower your hips, round your back. Bring your forehead to your knees, stretch your arms out in front. Sit back in your throne. Inhale, press down, stand up and come and sit down. Moving into boat pose. Bend your knees, bring your heels in front of your hips. Stretch your arms either side of your knees. Lean back slightly, lift your feet off the floor and stretch your legs up. More doable, do it with knees bent. release. And coming back into forward fold, make your way to standing. Feet inner hip width apart. Inhale, lift your arms up. Bend your knees. Exhale, hinge forward. Line up your fingernails with your toenails. Press the backs of your knees away. Allow your head to drop. Press the heel of your hand into the floor. Squeeze your inner shins, your inner thighs towards each other. Moving into power pose. Inhale, press down, stand up. Lift your arms overhead. Hands shoulder width apart. Arms brushing off your ears. Bend your knees, lower your hips, sink down, push into your ankles. Back straight. And lower your hands to the floor. Walk your feet back into plank. Float your shoulders over your wrists, and this time come onto the tops of your feet so your feet are pointed. Squeeze your heels together. Grip the floor with your fingertips. Core nice and bright. Lower to the floor, coming into cobra. Walk your hands back so they're halfway down the sides of your ribs. Forearms are vertical. Elbows are pointed at the ceiling. Press the tops of your feet into the floor. Flare your toes. Inhale. Come through the gateway of your arms. Squeeze your elbows towards each other. Lift your head and shoulders off the floor. Elbows bent. Turn toes under, make your way to down dog. Lift your hips high. And move into side plank. Walk your hands forward. Pivot your ankles to the right. Stack your left ankle on top of your right ankle and lift your top arm up. You can bring your top hand to your hip if you wish. Push through your heels. Come through down dog and switch to the other side. And release, and come and lie down on your back, moving into double diamond. Bend your knees, place your heels in front of your hips, walk your feet out to the long edges of the mat. Make goalposts of your arms by bending your elbows. Turn your palms up towards the ceiling, press the backs of your hands into the floor. Allow your knees to come down to the left. Momentarily lift your head off the floor, turn, look away from your knees and place your side of your head back on the floor. Inhale, come back to centre and switch to the other side. Lift your head off the floor. And then once again, look away from your knees. Inhale your knees back to centre and make your way to sitting. Coming into fire log. Just turn and face you. So crossing your legs, you can cross your legs at your ankle like this, or lift your left ankle and place your ankle on top of your right knee. So our shins are parallel and stacked one on top of the other. Your right ankle is under your left knee. Inhale, lift your arms up, and exhale and hinge forward. Make both feet active. Inhale, come back to centre and switch to the other side. Lift your right ankle, place on top of your left knee and vice versa. Inhale, lift your arms up, exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, back to centre. Moving into half frog, come and lie on your belly. Place your weight on your left elbow, bend your right knee, reach back with your right hand, clasp your right foot, and if you can, pivot your hand on top of your foot so that your fingers are pointed forward. If not, just catch your ankle any way you can. And then squeeze your knees closer to each other and squeeze your heel to your hip. Release that foot to the floor and switch to the other side. Bend your left knee, clasp your left foot, pivot your toes on top, pivot your fingers on top of your left foot, point your top elbow towards the ceiling, press the top of the right foot into the floor so that your knee is off the floor. And release, and coming into bow pose, come and lie on your belly, bend both knees, clasp your ankles, squeeze your heels together, lift your head and shoulders off the floor, externally rotate your upper arms. And make your way into up dog. Place your hands by your ribs, fingers pointed forward, forearms vertical. Come through the gateway of your arms, lift your head and shoulders off the floor and lift your knees off the floor. So the tops of your feet are on the floor. Lift your chest up. Squeeze your heels together. And release, and moving into a west stretch. Come and sit with your legs out in front of you. Feet together, more difficult. Feet inner hip width apart, more doable. Rotate your thighs in towards each other, and then grab the flabby bits of your buttocks behind you and pull them out. Get out of your own way. Inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale, hinging forward, and just gaze beyond your toes, rolling your inner shins towards each other, your inner thighs. Press the backs of your knees away from you, engage your quads. On every inhalation, stretching forward, on every exhalation, sinking down. Inhale, come back to centre. Moving into upward bow, come and lie on your back, bend your knees, place your heels in front of your hips, place your hands under your shoulders. As an alternative, more doable, you can come into bridge pose. So press down with your hands into the floor, press down with your feet into the floor, and inhale and push up into upward bow. You can come onto your head first if you wish. And release, and make your way into constructive rest. So bend your knees, walk your feet out to the long edges of the mat, allow your knees to lean in towards each other, hands by your sides, turn your palms up, press the backs of your hands into the floor, turn into your breath. Moving into supine twist, bend your right knee, stretch your left leg out on the floor, and cross your right foot over your left leg. Bring your foot to the floor, bring your right knee to the floor, and then stretch your right arm out behind you. Look back towards your right hand or arm. And switch over to the other side of supine twist. Stretch your right leg out, bend your left leg, and cross your left foot over your right leg. Roll over onto your right hip. Bring your inner left knee to the floor. Stretch your left arm out behind you. Look back behind you. If you wish, you can bring your right hand to your left knee. Back to center. Moving into happy baby to finish. Bring your knees into your chest, clasp the outside edges of your feet with your hands, draw down on the soles of your feet, press your lower back into the floor, shins vertical, press your head into the floor. Bring both knees into your chest and give yourself the most delicious hug. Rolling gently from side to side, just how good that feels. And then from here, making our way into relaxation. Stretch legs out, stretch arms out, turn palms up. And then sink into your mat, sink into the floor, receive your breath. Nothing to do, nowhere to be. Begin to deepen your breathing. Bring your attention back into your body and onto the mat. Start to move your hands, your feet. Perhaps give yourself a stretch. Bend your knees. Roll to one side and make your way to sitting. I invite you to bring your hands to your heart. Close your eyes. Turn in one last time. To honour ourselves, each other, and the practice, we close with one Om. Exhale. Inhale. Om. Thanks for practicing. Thanks for coming to practice. And don't forget, if you like this video, give me a like on YouTube and maybe subscribe. See you on the mat.